Hey friends, welcome back to Ball Homestead. Today we're going to process a deer. Our youngest son killed a deer, and that's kind of what we do. He kills them and he quarters them up for me, and most of the time debones them. And then I cut it up and package the meat up, and he always shares with us. So it's a good deal for us. Anyways, we're going to get busy on that. This is part of a ham, and I'll show you kind of what I do. There's glands and stuff in this fat. You always want to get that out. I'll just go down and cut. I have a scrap bowl here. I'll throw my scrap in and I section the meat into sections, and I will cut that into steaks. I always cut off any of the outside edge here. I want a nice clean piece of meat. But like this is like I'm not sure what cut it is, but I like to cut this into small steaks. It's a good tender piece of meat. And we will cut that up. And there's a little fat in the middle, but that's all right. I always have quite a few bowls set up here for my steaks, my grind meat, and my scrap, because we will grind a lot of this meat also. On the homestead, we depend highly on deer meat. This is going to be grind. We'll just go ahead and chop it up to go through the grinder. We love deer meat. We enjoy knowing, living off of the land and having fresh meat to do that. We've done this, for years. My kids were raised on deer meat. I was raised on deer meat. It's probably my favorite meat that there is. You always want to cut your meat across the grain too. You don't want to cut it with it. It'll make it less tender if you cut it with the grain. But anyways, you just kind of section your meat up, and I'm cutting a bunch of steaks this time because my son loves deer steak. So anyways, that's what I'm cutting for him. This is probably part of a ham, but we're going to get a lot of this sinew. This is really tough off of here. I just kind of take my knife and go down the edge of it and get up underneath it and peel that back. And then it goes to the scrap bowl for the dog. She loves deer scraps. So that grind bowl. Trim that off. We've been doing this deal for a long time though. My son is really good at deboning them, and I've just been, the cutter and the packager for a long, long time. So that's kind of, our system, and that's how we do things. That's the life we love to live. This will all be grind because it's got a lot of toughness in it. I just kind of look at the cut of the meat. I ain't no butcher, but this is just how I've been doing it for years, and that's just how I do it. There's some trash there. We're going to give that to the pup. Let's see what we got in this game bag now. All right, some more ham sections. We're going to try to just trim this up. And I'm sure that a lot of people think I'm not doing this correctly, but this is just how I've always done it, and it always gets eat. So oh, that knife is dull as dull can be. I probably should have done some sharpening. Okay, let's see here. Let me look at this. Grind. Grind. Nice, beautiful steaks. No. I'll grind that a little less, a little bit there. This is going to be a, might can get some steaks out. This section we're going to chop up for grind. I just kind of go through and look and see, because all these muscles come apart, and I want all this tough stuff off of the meat. We eat a lot of ground deer too. We love making deer tacos. It is probably me and Wayne's favorite is the deer tacos. So we get quite a bit of meat from one deer. Now here is a tenderloin, and I'll show you. Well, it's a back strap. Let me get another bowl here. I'm going to put it separate because I always like to package it up by itself. I like to get all this off. You can usually, once you get it started, just kind of pull and it'll pull off of there. Most of it will. It'll leave behind a little bit, but that ain't no biggie. You just gotta pull it off. Tenderloin or back strap is such good eating. Such good eating. Very tender. Super delicious. We always just flour and fry it. And just like the steaks, these will be floured and fried. And make some biscuits and gravy, some mashed potatoes, and you talk about a good meal. It is amazing. So tender. Your knife just glides right through it. I'm going to get a little bit more of that sinew off of here. You just kind of get up under it and it'll come right off. Super easy. Super, super easy. Okay, first tenderloin or back strap cut there. All right, there's some more probably grind. Let's see what else we got in this bag of tricks here. We got a lot of meat here today. This will all be grind. We have our own grinder. We make a lot of deer summer sausage and stuff too. All the kids and friends and stuff love it. We don't make it to sell or anything, just for ourselves and for gifts and such. But it I'm going to tell you, deer meat saves us a ton on our grocery bill. A ton. And we love having a lot of grind meat because, like Wayne and I eat mostly grind. We'll eat some tenderloin and or maybe a steak or two here and there, but we mostly, our favorite is the grind because we eat a lot of deer tacos and chili and stuff like that. We just keep working down the bag. See what we got in here. Another tenderloin or back strap. Let's see here. That looks like some grind. Some steaks. See, I'll trim that up. He saves me a ton of time from having all this deboned too, because that in itself is a huge job. But we've got a little system worked out, and it's worked for us for years. So, and I hope it continues to work for many more years, because it really helps us all. He works full time, his girlfriend works full time, and so do we. But this kind of keeps us all in deer meat, and then he's not doing it all, and we're not doing it all. Grind. He saves every little bit because he knows Mama likes to grind that meat. Our son is an avid hunter and fisherman. He has been all of his life. And I'm so thankful for those skills that this is some of that breakfast loin. You can tell when your knife goes through it. That's what we call breakfast loin. It's the actual tenderloin of the deer. It's just like cutting butter. So tender. Here, I want to show you on the camera really close, is another, this little gray thing is a glands. You definitely want to get all those out. And they're usually in the fatty part of the meat. Usually always in the fat. We'll cut that off of there in just a second. Scrap for Miss Lowell. She loves some deer meat. We all do, though. Here's a few little steaks. You hammer these out, roll them in flour and fry them, and it's just as good as anything. Here's that other breakfast loin, what we call breakfast loins, because they're so small. but it's the actual tenderloin of the deer. But the back straps are very tender too. This will be some more grind. Or roast. If you wanted a deer roast, you could do that. I'm going to use that for grind. It's pretty tough. I can usually tell by the way when my knife. That is too. It's very tough. Okay. Here's that piece with the gland in it. He must have shot in this because it's real bloody looking. So we'll cut that off. He bow hunts. That's his favorite sport. When he was in 6th or 7th grade, I always question. He won 3rd in the state of Arkansas with a bow. He's very good with a bow. He's been hunting since he was a little tyke, and he enjoys it. So that's a good thing. And he's a good fisherman too. Very good fisherman. Yeah, this is really tough. It'll be good for hamburger though, deer burger. We like I said, we make a lot of summer sausage and stuff like that. And there won't be a bit of this go to waste, I can assure you. This is part, I believe, of a tenderloin. It may be part of a ham. We're going to cut all this fat layer and sinew off and cut it into steaks. This little knife, I have got to sharpen it after we're done. Probably should now, but you can usually just pull it and it'll come off once you get it started, especially on the tenderloins. I can remember as a little girl, though, being outside with my daddy, watching him clean and cut up deer. So it's been in my genes my whole life. Square that off there. And then we're just going to slice these beautiful little steaks up. All right, look at that. Grind steaks, and we're working on this last loin, and we'll have this whole deer cut up. I think he said it was around 40 pounds of meat. So, let's see here. Turn this around. I like to start on the big end. It's just not wanting to come. Cut this off. And we will trim this end up. My hands are so slick. Let me get a napkin. Sometimes that helps. Just to grab a hold of it with something. Yeah. That little dab there. Throwing our grind, and then that for Lola. There we go. Looky there. Clean as can be. Now Now just slice it up. That is so tender too. And there's our deer, guys. Now we're going to get to grinding our meat. I'm going to give my hands a quick wash and get the camera set so you guys can see. And I'm going to get my vacuum sealer out too and try to vacuum seal as we go. Because I like to stay as active as I can getting it put up, because it's time consuming. But when you got somebody that helps, like with the him deboning it and stuff, that saves a ton of time. So I'm going to grab my vacuum sealer and some bags. We're going to get this grinder going, and then we're going to vacuum seal some meat as it's doing its thing. All right, we're just going to keep grinding this meat till we get it all ready to package. And I know deer meat isn't for everyone, but it's a staple in our home, and we like knowing where our meat came from. I'm not saying we never buy any meat at the store, but we try to either buy from local farmers or harvest the meat ourselves. And my family, we all love deer meat. But I'm thankful for my son and thankful for all his hard work and his skills in hunting and fishing and helping provide us with some yummy meat. My son has hunted since he was big enough to hunt, and he has always enjoyed that sport and fishing, and he is amazing at both. He really excels in both of those things, and I'm very thankful for that because it helps us too. We benefit from the free meat too. It just takes us a little work, but I'll put in the work any day of the week for some deer meat. In the South, we like to eat some deer meat, so that's why I just got 4 packs of tenderloin. When we get ready, we will pig out on some tenderloin. So, that's kind of how it goes. Hey, get another pack of steak going. This is just how I do it, friends. Kind of got me a little assembly line. That way when it's all done, it's all done. Alright, let that finish. Get our last pack of steaks done up here. All I like is our grind. If I want to make some stew, I can cut that up for stew meat. Friends, I love all things deer meat. It is my absolute favorite meat. I love it every way it's cooked, just about. And with the grind, we'll get it packaged up, and then I'll show you what all we got. Look at our lovely deer meat. We got all of our steak here, we got our tenderloin, and all of our yummy deer burger. We're going to get this in the freezer, and we'll enjoy every crumb of it, I can promise you. Thank you for stopping back by our homestead. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, friends, goodbye.